What's up, YouTube? So I'm going to show you how to flush and bleed your coolant system on your R56 Mini Cooper S. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and stick around. You're going to want to watch this whole video. If you're a do-it-yourself Mini Cooper owner, no matter what year you own or model, check out my Facebook group. It's Mini Cooper DIY. There's over 2,000 members with 400 more or so a week. So yeah, check it out. I'll leave a link in the description, or you can go into Facebook and type Mini Cooper DIY and it'll show up. Okay, so I just got done draining out my coolant. I've already drained my coolant. I'll show you guys how to do it in a second. I'm going to use old footage though, that's what I'm explaining. I just replaced my coolant hoses and my auxiliary water pump. You can check out those videos, they're already up. So I'm going to use footage from when I drained the coolant for that. Show you how to drain the coolant for this, but for every other step I have forged coolant hoses and they don't use the same type of clamps, so it's a little bit different. That's why I wanted to use the old footage to show you how to drain it. Okay, first you're going to want to drain the coolant from the system, and you're going to do it by releasing this clamp right here with this pair of hose clamp pliers like this. I'll link to these in the description where you can get them. But what you're going to do is you're going to squeeze together right here, and then you slide it back like that, release your pliers, and that's off. If this won't break loose by twisting it, mine just broke loose by twisting it, use a pick tool and just break the suction, but from here you should be able to just drain it. So right here, let me move my camera back a little bit. Just let that drain. Then from the top of the engine bay, go ahead and loosen your cap for your coolant reservoir, just to let it drain easier. Okay, so once you've drained your coolant, make sure you hook these hoses back up. This is what I was talking about, having different clamps with the forged hoses. But yeah, make sure you hook these back up and we'll get on to the next step. Okay, now go ahead and take the cap off of your coolant reservoir. Grab a fresh jug of distilled water and just slowly pour it in. Doesn't matter if you spill any, I guess, because distilled water. And just go ahead and fill up your reservoir all the way. Okay, so now go ahead and start your car. Make sure you turn your heater all the way up. It's all the way on hot. It's all the way on hot, and the fan is all the way up. Okay, straight down from where my finger is, there's a little plus sign down there. That's the screw you're going to turn counterclockwise in order to bleed the system. So then take your screwdriver, turn it counterclockwise a few turns, and you'll see this water level drop. wash this and keep it topped off with distilled water. And also, if you have a way to check your temperature, check your temperature. I'm using the scan gauge too. I'll link to one of these in the description. You can see my temperature is at 98. That FWT is Fahrenheit water temperature, so I'm still good. Just gonna go ahead and add some more distilled water. Pretty fast now. Okay, now water is starting to come out of the hole that screw that I turned. I'm going to go ahead and let it come out for a little while though. Make sure all the air is out. Okay, I just let it run. I leave the screw open. I'm going to let it drain out there while this is still draining. Don't let this get below where it's supposed to be. And then just go ahead and once it gets, down where it's supposed to be, and it's running through, go ahead and shut your engine off. You don't want to keep tightening this. You're only going to tighten it one time at the end. So as you can see, my car is not getting hot or anything, but all I have in it is distilled water. So I'm going to go ahead and shut the engine off right now. Pull the key out. Now I'm just going to go drain the coolant again. Well, I'm going to let the engine cool down, and then so I don't burn the crap out of myself, but I'm going to let it cool down, and then I'm going to go ahead and drain the coolant again. At this point, you're going to want to wait probably an hour for your engine to cool down before you drain it again. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait about an hour. Don't worry, I'm not going to make you watch me wait. That'd be kind of messed up. But yeah, in the next shot, I'll show you how to, we're just going to do it again. I'm going to show you how to bleed the system. Okay, I didn't have to wait an hour. My hoses were already cool, so I didn't bother. So go ahead and loosen your hoses underneath the car again. Try not to hit your exhaust with your, well, you're not going to be using a ratchet, so it's different. I'm just going to go ahead and drain it again, see if I can do it with this phone right here. Let me find a better position for my camera so I can get under here. Let's go ahead and let that drain. Go ahead and take that cap back off. Make sure it's drained all good. And you should still have that loose back there, so that's not going to matter. So I poured the rest of that jug. It was probably about an eighth of a jug of distilled water. I just poured it in the reservoir. I'm just going to let it drain through. But, because I'm actually only going to flush it that one time. If you're doing this and you haven't flushed your radiator in a long time, like I've done, this isn't my first time flushing my radiator, do this process until the liquid that comes out when you drain it is clear. and then you know you've gotten all of the fluid out, or all of the old coolant out. But and then once you've done that, then move on to where I'm gonna show you right now as soon as this is done draining. Okay, once that's done draining, go ahead and put your hoses back together. And put your clamp back on. You're going to use the hose clamp pliers. I'm going to use a ratchet, unless you have the same connections as me. But we'll move on to the next step. Okay, if this is your first time flushing your coolant system, fill this up. Do that same process that you just did, probably 2 or 3 times until it comes out clear. Probably twice will do it. But once you've done that, then go ahead and mix 50% coolant, or whatever ratio you're going for. But I'm going for 50% coolant, 50% distilled water. And go ahead and pour that mixture into here. Alright, just got done mixing mine, so I mixed it in this jug. And I'm using Mini brand coolant. I'll link to that in the description. Actually, before I put this in, hold on one second. I'm also going to be adding this Redline water wetter. I definitely recommend this. I'll link to this in the description as well. But I'm going to pour a little bit of coolant in first, and then I'm going to pour that in. That way, when I'm just not sure if that'll be the first thing that comes out of the bleeder screw. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and start the car. Going to make sure that I didn't close my bleeder screw. It's still open. So just let it run until the coolant comes out of there again. And make sure to keep an eye on the level of this. If it goes below the full level, make sure you put more coolant in it. It's okay if you put a little bit too much, because you can let it drain out the bleeder screw. Okay, so coolant is starting to come out through the drain, or through the bleed screw now. So I'm going to continue watching this. I'm going to let it come out and make sure that all the air is out of the system. Add a little bit more coolant. I'm just gonna let that drain come out of the bleed screw, and then once this drains down to where it's supposed to be, I'm gonna tighten the bleed screw. I'm gonna let my car run for maybe 5 more minutes, put the cap on, shut it off. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten the screw now. I'll let the coolant get a little bit low, so I'm going to add some more. So from this point, you're just gonna watch your coolant level, and if it goes down, add coolant. If it doesn't go down, don't add coolant. It's as simple as that. If you have any questions, go on or you can ask them in the description, not the description, but in the comments below, or you can go on my Facebook group, Mini Cooper DIY, ask there. I think you should join that group anyway. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give it a thumbs down, and I'll catch you in the next video.